Clippers had won 3 in a row going into the All-Star break. They have now dropped 3 in a row. Coming out of the All-Star break, they have not had Kawhi Leonard or Norman Powell in 2 of those games. And they had not had Norm in any of those games. 20 for Tobias Harris, 32 for Cade Cunningham, 18 for James Harden, 13 for Ivica Zubac, and 16 rebounds, 13 for Chris Dunn, 10 for Amir Coffey. And the Clippers fall to Detroit, a Piston team that shoots the second most free throws they have all season, 36 of them tonight. They miss 11. They make 25. And the Clippers sent Detroit to the line time and time again. The Clippers do outshoot Detroit by 14. They give up 27 fast break points. We mentioned the points in the paint battle mattering pregame. It ends up even here today, 48 all. Well, for our engineer, Al Rosenberg, our statistician, Ben Bagley, Carlo Jimenez I'm going to hand it over to Adam Oslin when we return with Daniel West back in the studio. Final here in Detroit. Pistons win their 7th straight and match Cleveland for the longest active winning streak in the NBA. 106-97. We'll see you in a few. Don't go anywhere on your Clippers Audio Network.
The shorthanded Clippers battled, but they come up short in Detroit and lose 106-97 as they are 0-3 coming out of the All-Star break. Welcome in. I'm Adam Oslin. This is your post-game show. Coming up, we'll get to your second half highlights, your final box score, and Clippers talk on AM 570 LA Sports. But first, back out to Little Caesars Arena with your radio boys of the Clippers in Carlo Jimenez. Carlo, I don't feel like the Clippers ran out of heart or effort in this one. They were just at a talent disparity. It was in favor of the Detroit Pistons, and they were able to pull away late.
And it's a tough one for the Clippers to swallow because once again, Adam, you're in the game down the stretch, had an opportunity to come away with the win, and they fought every single chance they could against this Piston team, fought for rebounds, fought on the glass, got downhill. I mean, it really was a great showing by this group effort-wise. And unfortunately for this Clipper team, they have lost now Norm and Kawhi in their last two games against a Pacer team that has won 16 of their last 21, and against a Detroit team that has won 7 in a row now. Their best is 2014-2015. So, yes, you look at the schedule, you see Eastern Conference, you think automatic win, but as Ty Lue says, he doesn't even care what conference you're in, especially with the way these two teams that the Clippers just ran into are playing as of late. Some of their best basketball, Clippers catching them at the wrong time because they don't have the personnel that they need out there today. I thought Chris Dunn tonight was incredible. Ivica Zubac, 16 rebounds. Harden fought for every single possession on the second night of a back-to-back in his 16th NBA season with a lot of miles on those legs. He was great for the Clippers down the stretch. But I'd agree with you, Adam. I think at the end of the day, the culture's there. The fight is there. They just do not have right now the scoring. I mean, you're missing 42 points a game. 42 points a game. And you're playing teams that – I mean, Indiana had lost 2 games all February. Detroit has lost 2 games all February. Like these are great teams. These are really, really good teams that the Clippers are running into. And I think because of the Eastern Conference, people might expect easy wins. That is not the case when you're facing the top 6 out east. Those are all extremely good basketball teams, including this Detroit group that is now 32-26. And I know a lot of people probably didn't watch or listen to a lot of Detroit basketball this year. Vegas had them winning 24 games, but they're cemented as the 6th seed out east. They have played excellently this season.
And I don't fault Coach Lue one bit for the lineups, the rotations, what he tried to do in this game, starting Bogdan Bogdanovic. Unfortunately, he had a career-low type of game from 3, 1 of 12 from the outside. My player to watch, he really struggled in this one. The hope is that he can shoot himself out of this funk that's going on right now because a couple of those three-pointers fall, this game could have flipped the other direction.
Agreed. 100% agreed. They had great looks. And look, if you're Ty Lue, you could take out Bogi, but that could be a confidence ruiner. And Ty is a player improvement type guy. And I think what he showed Bogi today is, I don't care if you miss. Shoot the ball. And that's the confidence you need in somebody like Bogdan Bogdanovic. I understand 1 for 12 is a lot of misses, but Ty Lue is coaching to win playoff games, not games in February for this Clipper team. This is a 40% three-point shooter for most of his NBA career, above 38% in his career. Bogdanovic is a good three-point shooter. He started the season 4 for 7. On 2 games, he struggles from the field, but the Clippers cannot have a hesitant Bogdan Bogdanovic the rest of the way if they want to win games. They need Bogi hitting big shots, and that's why Ty leaves him in the game, because he's showing him there, you have my trust no matter what you're shooting, and that will pay off. This is somebody who's been to the finals multiple times. He understands that games in February, even if you want to go all in, might not, a loss can teach you enough to help you win down in April and May and maybe into June. And I think that's where the Clippers are coming from in this one. Obviously, a lot of frustration, 2 very tough losses for this Clipper team. But you look at the box score and you see no Kawhi, no Norman Powell against 2 teams that are on fuego in their current stretches of play. It's tough to win.
Clippers have to find a way to bounce back in Chicago on Wednesday. They will be desperate for a victory. Tip time for that one against the Bulls is at 5. We'll have your pregame show starting at 4. Carlo, tough one, but great call by you. Safe travels. Let's do it in Chicago, where hopefully the Clippers find themselves and hopefully get a little bit healthier.
Yeah, let's do it in Chicago, Adam. One more on the road here before the Clippers, well, the road trip continues. Before they go to L.A. to continue the 7-game road trip. Let's go.
Coming up next, second half highlights. Clippers fall late in Detroit to the Pistons. I'm Adam Osland, and you're listening to the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Clippers run out of gas in the Motor City and fall 106-97 to the Pistons. Yes, they scored just 97 points in this ball game. Ended up 11 of 41 from three. Unfortunately, Bogdan Bogdanovic, the shooting struggles from this season continue. He was 1 of 12 from the outside. Had 13 points on 6 of 19 shooting. Ivica Zubac only got up 11 shots, 6 of 11, 13 and 15. Chris Dunn did have 13 points. That's a great number for him. Just 2 came in the second half, but I thought he was phenomenal. I thought he was putting on a defensive tour de force. Like, this was a defensive masterclass by Chris Dunn. You hold a team to 106 points, you should win the game. But James Harden, after the efficiency last night, 31 points on 17 shots. He has just 18 points on 22 shots. He looked gassed out there. Too many turnovers as well. Amir Coffey with 10 off the bench. Derrick Jones Jr. had a spectacular third quarter. He ended up with 15 points. But this Clippers team, not enough. Shooting under 27% from the outside is a rough number. And unfortunately, Bogi ball not happening yet. He's got to get it out of his system. He's got to get out of this funk. And hopefully he can knock down, I guess 11th was the magic number, because he missed his first 10 3-pointers. And some of them in the fourth quarter were wide open. I know he was screaming at himself. He was frustrated. He is a pro. He's a career 38% 3-point shooter and goes 1 of 12 in this ball game, unbelievably. As for the Detroit Pistons, they were led by Cade Cunningham, 32 points, 9 boards, 7 assists. Had a couple of moments where he really took over in this game. Tobias Harris, former Clipper, had a little revenge game in him, 9 of 13 for his 20 points. Clippers lose 106-97 in Detroit to the Pistons. They have lost 3 straight. Their next game coming up in Chi-Town in Chicago on Wednesday. Hopefully, they will have Norm or Kawhi back for that one, because they need them. I'm Adam Osland. More post-game coming up next right here on the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Clippers lose 106-97 in Detroit to the Pistons. I'm Adam Osland. Welcome back in. Coming up, we got Clippers Talk, 866-987-2570. 866-987-2570 is the phone number. The number that really sticks out in this one is 29 fast break points for the Pistons. And we're not talking about just off of turnovers. Yes, they had 22 points off the Clippers' 17 turnovers. Clippers only had 17 points off of Detroit's 16. But when the Clippers were missing shots, the Pistons were running the other way. End of the third quarter, that 8-0 run, that led to them getting up by 12 early in the fourth quarter. I mean, it was a back and forth game. I want to say there were 15 lead changes in the first half. That 8-0 run to end the third quarter was brutal for the Clippers. And a lot of it was just off of a missed floater. Pistons got it, and they were running the other way quickly. Schroeder layup to end that third quarter, to end that 8-0 run. Harris had a dunk. Toby. Clippers could not defend without fouling at all in this ball game. It was a weird whistle, but most of it went against the Clippers. It's not why they lost, but 36 free throws is an incredible number by Detroit, who missed 11 of them. The Clippers missed 7 of their 19 attempts at the charity stripe. When your margin for error is this razor thin, you can't miss 7 free throws. Harden missed 3. Zubats missed a couple. Derrick Jones Jr. missed a couple. I thought there was some really good performances and a really good effort within a game they lost, but they still had miscues out there. They still weren't good enough. They're without Kawhi. They're without Norman Powell. If you want to judge them losing to the Detroit Pistons, I would add in the context that they're missing their 2 best scorers. The Pistons have won 7 straight. They are thriving. Wrong place, wrong time. First a Pacers team that's red hot, then a Pistons team in a back-to-back setting without Norm, without Kawhi. It was always going to be difficult. Clippers gave themselves a chance. A few of those bogey threes go. It's a different ball game. But in the end, they're going to Chicago on Wednesday, and they have to win that game if they want to hold on to a top 6 spot in the Western Conference. Well, we have a moment. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification here on the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network.
This is LA Clippers basketball. AM 570 KLAC Los Angeles, 98.7 KYSR HD2 Los Angeles, and iHeartRadio.
I mean, people in the chat are talking about, you're making all these excuses for us playing terribly. It's like, guys, you don't have 2 of your top 3 players. Like, there's no reason to overanalyze it when you're playing good teams and you're missing maybe your 2 top players, your 2 top scorers, and they're not missing theirs. That means they're at a great talent advantage against you. So I'm not shocked by this. I knew earlier today it would be tough. The Clippers would have to find a way. I felt like they played a gritty brand of basketball. They played with a ton of heart out there, but they got out-talented. That's how this league works. I don't know if you've heard, this is a players' league. If you're missing your best players, you're in trouble against a team that has theirs. Clippers lose 106-97. Tipping off Wednesday after a day off in Chicago. Hopefully Norm or Kawhi or both are available. 5 p.m. tip in Chi-Town on Wednesday. Your pregame show will start here at 4 outside of Los Angeles. We are leaving you until then. Coming up next, we got Clippers Talk on AM 570 LA Sports. Bogi goes 1 of 12 from 3, and the Clippers lose 3 in a row coming out of the All-Star break. Welcome in to Clippers Talk. Welcome into the Panic in the Skies Falling radio that's been going on since yesterday. 866-987-2570, 866-987-2570. Not from me necessarily, but people in here in the chat, not from the callers even, as of late. But people are melting down at Clippers Talk on the YouTube side, not realizing that it's difficult to win without your two top guys or two of your top three guys. If you don't have Norman Powell, their leading scorer this season, if you don't have Kawhi Leonard, their best player, you're going to have a tough time against teams that had won 6 in a row, that are having a moment like the Pistons, that have now won 7 in a row. And the Clippers fought, they battled. They didn't run out of heart out there. They ran out of talent. That's how the game works. Why do you think people call it a players' league? Because those who have the stars have the power. Those who have the stars have the advantage. The Clippers don't have theirs. You can call it an excuse. I would say it's an explanation. Like, I don't know how you've been viewing the NBA, but it is a star-driven league. If you're missing your best players, when there's only 5 guys on the court for you at once, it's a huge deal. Bogi had a really poor shooting game, an unfathomably bad shooting game, like incomprehensible. 1 of 12 from 3 when they needed him. I said earlier today I wanted to see him in the starting lineup. It happened. I don't think he lost them the ball game because I don't know who else you're going to. And you have to have some spacing out there. And Detroit was respecting his shot because of his reputation. But unfortunately, he's had a bad year. And he just had maybe his worst shooting game of his career. 1 of 12 from 3. And the Clippers are still right there because defensively, they were really good. They held a team to 106 points. You should win that game. Yeah, in today's league, holding a team to 106, like, let's see. What is the worst team average in the NBA on offense now? It's probably about 106. That's nothing with today's shooting and the modern NBA and the spacing and stretching the floor. The worst team points per game average is held by the Orlando Magic at 104. They play at a slow pace. They have a really good defense. But this Clippers team is right there in the game until the end of the third quarter, which was the first sign of things getting away from them. That 8-0 run by Detroit. The Clippers went 5 minutes from the 2.5 mark of the third quarter to the 9:30 mark of the fourth quarter, 5 minutes without making a field goal. They went 4 minutes and 20 seconds to end the first quarter without making a field goal. With a lineup that just got shellacked, as nobody could hit, even with James Harden out there. So we are talking about almost 10 minutes of basketball in a 48-minute game where the Clippers did not hit a field goal. For those who were telling me just heading into that game against Indiana yesterday that, oh, we're better without Kawhi, better offense, there's more flow to the offense. Yeah. Do you see what happens without your stars? Clippers got up 97 points. James Harden, I knew he wouldn't have the game he had yesterday. It's too difficult to replicate that. He went 5 of 22, 18 points. Played 40 minutes, second night of a back-to-back. I don't fault him. The guy has been available. He has been a workhorse for this team, and they were at a talent disadvantage. It is difficult to win a ball game against a good team, a quality team like the Pistons, on the second night of a back-to-back in their place, when you don't have Kawhi and Norm Powell. The Clippers still had their chances. That 8-0 run to put them down 10 heading into the fourth, where they would get down by 12, and they still fought. They still made it interesting. They still had it down to 5. The Dunn steal, and Chris Dunn just had another incredible ball game. This and the game against Milwaukee are two of the better defensive games I've seen, guys. He has been averaging 5 steals per game over his last 5 games. I think he had 15 steals his last 4 games, and then he had 5 tonight. I can't believe some of the defensive plays that Chris Dunn made. That Dunn steal to Amir for the and one in transition to bring it back to within 5 after a Zoo push shot in the fourth. Clippers were still right there. Harden hit another 3 after they got it back up to 8 to bring it to 5. But Duren had to put back dunk. Bogi had a turnover, misses an open 3. Clippers are down 95-88. Dunn has another steal out of a timeout. He was flexing his left knee afterwards. That's concerning. Amir got to the free throw line out of it, knocked down both. It's a 5-point game again. Harden misses a 3. Zoo rebound. Amir misses. Beasley 3 on the other end. 8-point game. Clippers generate another extra possession the next time down. Offensive rebounds. Bogi finally hits a 3 after starting 0 of 10. Zoo block on the other end. Clippers are down 5. Dunn misses a 3. Maybe they were settling too much for 3s, but a lot of them were generated after a shot inside the arc, where then they got the offensive rebound. They were battling. They were playing with desperation out there. They missed a lot of 3s. Bogi did specifically. But that Cade 3-pointer was pretty much the end of the ball game. I don't fault the effort at all. This team played hard. For anybody that's out there saying Coach Lou can't motivate this team or something that I saw last night after they lost to Indiana, it's like, did you watch the game? You're telling me they weren't playing with heart? They weren't playing hard out there? Mike in LA, you're on Clippers Talk with Adam Moslin. What's up, Mike? Did you see the same thing, or am I going crazy?
No, I think they're playing hard. I think the people we have are playing hard,
Right.
but that leads to 3 things or 3 thoughts I couldn't help but, thinking about while listening to the end of this game. The first is the Kevin Porter Jr. trade. I don't get it. The Terrence Mann, Bones Highlands trade, I get. The Kevin Porter Jr. trade,
You don't get,
Marjon Beauchamp just isn't, we could have used
my guy,
somebody else who can.
They didn't trade him. They didn't trade him. It wasn't about what they got in return. They wanted a different look in their backcourt. They wanted somebody who was more stable with the basketball and wouldn't go into ISO mode with Kawhi and James Harden on the court, and he got tunnel vision and would just take his own shot like that. I don't know what you were watching with Kevin Porter Jr., but there were some real tough moments from a young player who missed the entire year last year. It is not winning basketball at all to me. I every time somebody would say he's getting better, then he'd have a game where like it was just as bad as before. I don't think there's any rationale or any proof that for sure he was getting better. I mean, he's 23. Maybe he figures it out, or maybe he's just a consistently inconsistent player that, plays a losing brand of basketball because he was with a really bad Houston team for a while. You know, I wish them the best, but I don't think this is about not having Kevin Porter Jr. at all.
No, but then so one of the other things is why was Norm Powell probably should have just sat out the 3-point contest? Would you agree with that?
If he was hurt at that time, I don't know. I don't know what the deal is. I mean, putting up shots like that, it's not exactly like if you think putting up 3-pointers stationary off a rack is going to exacerbate the injury. I have my doubts about that. It's not that physical of a contest. He wasn't in the dunk contest.
Yeah, maybe not. I mean, maybe not. It's just, given the I guess juxtaposition with the whole LeBron thing and, everything, that's something that just popped into my mind. And, the third thing is, we're talking, we also keep talking about, getting, coaching for the playoffs and, doing what we had, saying, okay, well, we're doing this so we can do it in the playoffs. I mean, really, the next 25 games are this team's playoffs.
Doing what so we can do it in the playoffs? Doing what? You said doing this so we can do it in the playoffs?
They're saying,
whatever it is two guys out with injury.
Yeah, no.
That's not, hey, we're saving them for the playoffs. That's Kawhi got hurt against Milwaukee.
That's true.
Norman Powell's been hurt. I don't know. It's tough.
Oh, no, it is. I agree. But I think, somehow we got to start winning some games. I mean, it's, it's getting, you look at the standings, it's getting close. It's getting very tight.
I agree with you, Mike. I appreciate the phone call as always. We'll take a quick time out here. We'll come back. We'll get to more of your phone calls. Clippers lose 106-97 in Detroit to the Pistons. Battled. It's another game where they were down double digits in February. They've been down double digits every game this month. We'll get to your phone calls next. I'm Adam Osland, and you're listening to Clippers Talk here on AM 570 LA Sports. I mean, we can overanalyze this game to death, guys, as the Clippers lose 106-97 in Detroit to the Pistons, but there's another way to look at it. The Pistons, Our good ball club, they have won 7 in a row now, and they weren't missing 2 of their top 3 guys like the Clippers were. And they were hosting the Clippers. If you don't have Kawhi, you don't have Norman Powell, it's going to be a tough time offensively. But I'm just amazed at all the people that told me yesterday and over the last week, like, I don't know, offensively, the flow looks better without Kawhi. Yeah, how's that going? Demetrius in Manhattan Beach. Demetrius, what's up? You're on Clipper South with Adam Austin.
How you doing, Adam? Take a deep breath. I agree with you. I like what you just said. I like exactly what you just said about. Let me just, before we talk Clippers, let me give a shout out. And I normally don't do this to Kate Cunningham. I think that he should have some considerations for the MVP. Like you said, Adam, it wasn't a shabby place. They had won 7 in a row. Nack's been playing some pretty good ball. They got a pretty good team down there. They shoot well. They run. They can transition. And so we got to give Detroit credit. Now, stepping back to the Clippers, I actually feel pretty good today. I think they played excellent defense.
They did.
They played excellent defense, especially in the fourth quarter. Zubac, he was, they didn't get him as much touches as he should. He ended up with 15 rebounds, 15 points.
He wasn't great either. He had 13 and 15, but 6 of 11 from the field. There was a pass out of a timeout from James Harden to him in the fourth quarter. And this has happened far too much this season where they can't connect late in the fourth quarter. And Harden threw this lob mortar fire pass that wasn't close to Ivica Zubac that amounted to a turnover. That was tough, but there were other times, Ivica Zubac got blocked. I mean, what happened at the end of that third quarter is Beef Stew, Isaiah Stewart, had like back-to-back blocks on possessions on the Clippers that turned to runouts for the Pistons. They played tough. They're a good ball club. Like, everybody thinks like, oh, our team's always supposed to win. Well, the Pistons feel the exact same way.
Well, we had beat them 10 in a row, and so
that's not the same team. That's not the same team.
That is not the same. That is not the same team. But James Harden had 7 turnovers. Would like to see a little bit more execution. I know he's been playing 39 minutes, 36 minutes. Kudos to him.
50 minutes
and ready to play.
No, I mean, he's been a workhorse. He has been an innings eater at a star position with a high usage rating. I can't really criticize James. He shouldn't be having to do this much.
Yes, he's playing at 39, 38 minutes. But again, let me just let our Clipper Nation know today that everybody take a deep breath here today on the 24th, okay? We're missing 50 points. Kawhi has averaged 25 points his last 2 games. Norman Powell right around 24 to 25. That's 50 points right there. So this team is not really geared. We're a defensive team. That's why we brought Jeff Van Gundy in here to slow this game down. So when you're missing 2 star players and you're going up against a team like Detroit that's red hot, or any team that can shoot the 3, we have to make threes when we're shorthanded. We got to shoot the ball well. We got to play better transitional defense. We almost have to be perfect when we're without our guys because that's the way this team built. Now, with our whole team together, you'll get an opportunity to see really how dangerous this team is. But listen, at the end of the day, Adam, me and you both said the same thing. This team needs to be healthy, and that's our number one concern. I'm not concerned. We got the best starting 5 out there. The usage rates show it. And listen, let's take a deep breath tonight. I feel much better than I did yesterday. And, hey, moving forward, we need our guys to play, but we also need them healthy, and that's what I'm concerned about. Thank you, sir.
Demetrius, great phone call as always, bringing some sanity to the conversation here. Like, if you told me in these back-to-back games the Clippers would shoot 21 for 81 from 3, 26%, I would have been like, yeah, they got smoked both games. Indiana pulled away in the second half yesterday. The Pistons pulled away the second half of the fourth quarter and really the last 3 minutes. You told me that, and you don't have Norm and Kawhi for both games. Like, yeah, they're not going to win those games. You can't shoot that poorly from the outside. We'll take a quick timeout. We'll come back. We'll get to your phone calls, 866-987-2570. I'm at a Moslin after the Clippers lose 106-97 to the Pistons. They weren't that far from finding a way to pull out a game without Kawhi, without Norm, against a team that won 6 in a row. They didn't quit. Pistons just had their guys. Clippers were missing a couple of theirs. A couple of key guys. More Clippers talk next here on AM 570 LA Sports. Some of y'all are like, hey, we should be able to beat anyone no matter who's available. It's like, that's not how the league works. If you don't have your best guys and the other team does, it is a players' league. It is a superstar-driven league. And the Clippers have no shame in losing like this to the Pistons, 106-97 in Detroit on the second night of a back-to-back. The guys who are out there fought. Yeah, it sucks. It's still a loss. It's still 3 losses in a row. I get the frustration to a point. If the Pistons had lost this game, they would have been like, what? We just lost to a Clippers team without Kawhi? Without Norm Powell? But they had all the advantages. Jeremy in LA. You're on Clippers Talk with Adam Moslin. What's up?
What's up, Adam? Jason C in the chat for those who don't know. But I just feel like, that it's one thing for the effort's there, right? Like no one's gonna, unless you're just completely blind. No one's gonna fault the effort, right? No one's gonna fault the people on the floor. People have to make shots. It is what it is. Like Bogi's a great shooter. I have full confidence in him going forward. Like people have bad games, guys have bad games. Second night of a back-to-back. There's not much you can do. What I do want to see for the rest of, the season, if we can do that, I just want to see us play a little faster. That's all. And by faster, I don't mean playing fast. I don't mean fast breaking all the time. But I feel like we get in the worst situations when we go slow. James Harden dribbles the air out of the ball. into a pick and roll that goes nowhere at 3 seconds left on the shot clock. I feel like we haven't valued those possessions.
But the other side of that, Jeremy, is James Harden averages the most points in isolation this season. He was second last year in point per possession in isolation. Like, he is good at this. This is why he's a Hall of Famer. I get when it doesn't work, it looks bad, but it works a lot.
I absolutely agree with you. And it's actually to mitigate how many times he does go isolation for us, because the more you put pressure on the defense early in the shot clock, the easier those isolation chances will be, right?
Well,
because you're
I
going
agree
to end up with a better matchup later in the shot clock, because you went a little faster, because you went a little quicker. And the other part of that is that'll also possibly help just get us more shots. And the more shots we get, the better we're going to be, because every time we get more shots than the opponent, we're almost completely ridiculously hard to beat. And that's
you want to guess how many more shots? Hey, you want to guess how many more shots they had in the opponent?
I believe it was 14 tonight. I believe it was 14 tonight. Yeah. Yes, I do know we have to make shots.
They went to the free throw line a lot, though. Now, Jeremy, I agree with you, and I'm going to say this: when they have Ben Simmons, they will be pushing the ball up the floor and getting into their offense quicker, even with him playing next to James Harden. Like, I think that is something they want to do. So I appreciate the phone call. I think it's a good point. I still got another timeout here to take. We'll get to it quickly. Clippers lose 106-97 to the Pistons in Detroit. I'm Adam Osland, and this is Clippers Talk here on AM 570 LA Sports. Clippers lose 106-97 in Detroit to the Pistons. Shout out Derek Jones Jr. There was a timeout in the third quarter where I saw him and James Harden talking to one another, walking back to the huddle. And then we got two oops from James Harden to Derek Jones Jr. A putback left-handed dunk by DJ. Like, I thought this team fought. I thought there were some really good performances out there. Like, control what you can control. They played hard. Bogi goes 0 of 12 from 3. That's probably never happened in his entire life. So if you want to read into this and be like, well, they have all these flaws, it's like, oh, stuff that's outlier shooting nights has happened against them the last 2 games against good teams, and they haven't had Kawhi and Norman Powell. To me, there's an easy way to summarize what's going on and why the Clippers have lost these games. Do they need to get those guys back soon? Yeah. Hopefully they get one of them back against Chicago on Wednesday. Tip off at 5, pregame show at 4. Clippers taking on the Bulls. The Bulls. It's disappointing, Clipper Nation. I get it. But if you contextualize it and don't just dumb it down to, well, a loss is a loss, and look at the details of what happened here, I don't think it's indicative of who this Clippers team would be if they were fully healthy. And the only way they're going deep in the playoffs is if they get fully healthy. So I'll judge them and how they look healthy over games like this. Before we get out of here, I do want to thank the Clippers organization, Ralph Lawler, Brian Seaman, Noah Eagle, Carlo Jimenez on the call, Big Brother Jake Warner, miss you, bro. Daniel West, our producer here in the bank. Thank you, Daniel. Until Wednesday, with the pregame show starting at 4, Clippers in Chicago taking on the Bulls. I'm Adam Oslin. We'll talk to you then.